Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining the Healthy Planet Consumer webinar tonight. My name is Jolene Gruber, and I'm so glad you could all be on here. I know we've had a beautiful week weather-wise, and I myself am looking to go for a walk tonight after this webinar. So hopefully you guys have gotten out today, or you can get out later this evening and get some fresh air. It's a beautiful night here in Ontario. Once again, my name is Jolene Gruber. I'm a nutritionist and I'm the national educator for Organica. I'm also a hockey mom. I have two teenage boys that play rep hockey and keep my husband and I hopping. I'm an athlete myself. I've been in sports my entire life, so I love learning about sports nutrition. I love learning about nutrition in general. I am a holistic nutritionist, so I love to get to the root of things, and I like to eat as healthy as possible. And I'm really excited that you guys can all be here to talk about 5 ways to balance your blood sugar for a healthier you. So we are going to talk about your morning routine. We're going to talk about breakfast. Is it the most important meal? When is the best time to eat breakfast? Your body pH and what to eat for lunch, and some healthy snack swaps as well. But before I get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are. So Organica, for those of you that aren't familiar, we're a natural wellness and beauty company from beautiful British Columbia, which is in Canada. We love helping people live healthier lives, and we've been doing it for the past 30 years. Actually, this summer will be our 32nd anniversary, which is amazing. It's awesome to work for a family-owned company. And we've grown from a humble line of supplements to an always evolving collection of natural health and beauty products, including Canada's #1 collagen. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with our enhanced collagen, which I will talk about, but it's really exciting that we've been the #1 selling collagen powder, and we're also the 4th recognized brand in Canada. So there's so many great brands out there and so many great brands in Canada. And you know, just to be the 4th recognized is really wonderful. And our guide is to help people guide them for better health through genuine passion for wellness and innovation. So Organica was founded in 1990, which is great. So it's a vertically integrated company as well. And we have over 80,000 square feet of manufacturing space in BC. So it's a great facility. And just to get started, I think a great place to start is finding your own morning routine. So this is really important. And I think for people, you know, usually in the morning time is, you know, when we're hustling and we're bustling, and sometimes we didn't get enough sleep, and sometimes we've hit snooze a few times. But it's really important, I think, for most people, especially now getting into the beautiful weather that we're having, is it's really important to find your morning routine to start your day. So I always say this to my kids in the morning. They're supposed to get up, get themselves ready for school, get everything together first before they even touch their devices. That's a rule that we have. I do it myself. So my rule is your phone's down, your head up, right? So many times where, you know, my kids and I myself, you know, our head could be buried in our phone. So it's important to wake up early and receive the sun, and don't rush. I'm encouraging my kids, I mean, you know, they push it to the very last minute to get out of bed, and sometimes they're busy if they've had late night hockey games and we've been traveling out of town. But it's really important, you know, even if you can get up 20-30 minutes earlier, your body will thank you for it, because we don't want to rush. Wake up early. I love to go, even in the middle of winter, on my porch, open the door, kind of see what the temperature's like, and just breathe in the fresh air. I always sit on my porch or in the backyard before I even start my day and get some sun, no matter what the time of year is. Even if it's not a sunny day, I'll still be outside. But the fresh air, if you can get a morning walk or a run or something physical in before you start the day, even better. So to get your heart pumping is great. First thing in the morning, if you know you have a dog, some people walk their dogs in the morning, or you can go for a jog, or just do something you enjoy. It's important to do something you enjoy. If you don't like running, don't run. But you want to get your heart pumping, and that's really great for energizing yourself throughout the day. And I find personally, with the nicer weather this week, the sun shining, it's been easier to kind of get up earlier and get motivated and get out and do things. So get your heart pumping. is great. And, you know, you don't have to eat breakfast before you go for a walk or your run. Really, it's great to do it on an empty stomach if you can, because you're just utilizing maybe some stored fat that we have, and we all have some stored energy on our body. And the endorphins and the adrenaline that will throw through your body just makes you feel good. So I had a great run this morning. I felt awesome. I know there's days where I don't do it and I just don't feel good. You know, you don't get those endorphins and you kind of regret it all day long. So I always encourage people to do something first thing in the morning. Then you can shower after, and then you've checked that off for the day, and your day tends to be more positive and you feel good. Your mood is good. It sort of sets the tone for the day, and it really starts your day on a good foot, literally. So I always encourage people to find that routine and do that first. Second is breakfast, and is it the most important meal? That's a question that's come up a lot. And, you know, for some people, if you're hungry in the morning, you should always listen to your body and you should eat if you are hungry. The problem is a lot of people are choosing, you know, foods that are not the greatest first thing in the morning. You want to make sure if you're eating first thing in the morning, you are having protein, because that's really good for our blood sugar. Now, before I dive into blood sugar and, you know, what foods to eat, I'm just going to explain something. If I was doing this live in a classroom, I'd draw it on the board. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to draw a circle here, which represents the cell. So the cells are in our body. We have thousands and thousands of cells, and they serve a really good purpose. And what happens is when we consume sugar, so let's just say, you know, we have, you know, a chocolate bar or a can of pop, or it could even be a muffin, or it even could be some fruit, like some good sugars, right? Our body produces insulin. So when our body produces insulin, I'm going to draw these little doors here. And of course, these are microscopic, but I'm just drawing it here. And what happens is when our body eats sugar, our pancreas knows that it has to secrete insulin. Okay, insulin is a hormone that secretes from our pancreas. And when we eat sugar or a carbohydrate that turns to sugar, we grab onto that sugar and take it into the cell. Okay, so I'm just going to draw an arrow going into this door here and inside the cell. Inside the cell, our body will turn this into, that's a G, glycogen. Okay, sorry, G for glycogen. Now, that's great. Our body knows how to do that. It's a process that it does automatically. And what happens is, though, over time, if we're consuming way too many refined carbohydrates and sugars in general, our pancreas will keep pumping out insulin. Okay, our body knows that it has to do that. So over time, as we get older, and actually you're finding it more now in younger adults, teenagers, even younger kids in elementary school, what's happening is because we're consuming so many sugars and our food system is so processed, and we have a lot of flour foods and man-made foods, we're pumping a lot of insulin all day long. So what happens is our blood sugar is high, and the insulin keeps on taking that sugar into the cell all day long. Over time, what happens is these little receptor doors here, you can see, they kind of get gummed up. It's like putting gum in a keyhole. They can't get in. So over time, we're still pumping out that insulin, taking that sugar to the cell, but the problem is the insulin's not getting into the cells. So where is it? It's in our bloodstream. And when it's in our bloodstream, it gets stored around the middle like visceral fat. Okay, so I really like drawing that diagram just so you guys can kind of have a visual and see, you know, the process, what happens when we're eating too much sugar. So, oops, looks like something happened. It transferred to this slide, but that's okay. So too much insulin gets stored around the middle, and some people call that a muffin top, right? So what I'm going to do is, for some reason, this is on all the slides now. Here, all drawings. There we go. So what I'm going to do next is, there we go. I'm going to explain to you what happens in the morning when we have too much sugar. And this is what leads to these muffin tops, or, you know, that stored insulin around the middle. So when you get up in the morning, let's imagine that you took an apple and you juiced it with a juicer. So you put it through the juicer kicked all the fiber in the skin to the back of the juicer, and this nice juice came out. Well, you would get some nutrients from the juice, which is great. It doesn't take too long to drink the juice. So you'd feel good. Your blood sugar would spike, and then it would drop really quickly. And the apple juice isn't going to hold you over very long. You're not going to stay full from the apple juice. This is just an example. But let's say, what's going to happen is you're going to get high insulin potential, which means your body's going to create and shoot out a lot of insulin, okay? Now, let's say the second day, instead of juicing that apple, you cut it up and you eat it with the skin on. So that apple has some nice fiber in the skin. And anytime you add fiber to our food, it sort of buffers that insulin spike. So whereas the juice, we'd get a really high spike, when we eat the apple, it's going to take a little bit longer to eat the apple, but we're going to get less of an insulin spike. It's going to hold us over or sustain us a little bit longer. And the main thing is we're not going to get as much insulin spiked, okay? Now let's say, and that's because of the fiber from the skin, right? Anytime you're having fiber, that's going to buffer that insulin spike. Let's say the third day, you cut up that apple and you eat it with the skin on, and you have it with some almond butter or some cashew butter. So now you've got some really good protein and some really good essential fats. So you're going to eat that apple with the nut butter on there. Your blood sugar is not going to spike that high because now you've got the fiber from the skin, the protein and the fat from the almond butter, and it's going to sustain you over much longer. So anytime you add protein, fat, and fiber to our meals, we're going to get less of an insulin spike, and it's going to sustain us longer. So obviously an apple with almond butter would just be more like a snack, but for our meals, you really want to make sure you're including those foods so we're not having too much insulin potential to get stored around the middle. Okay, so when is the best time to eat breakfast? So this is really individual, and it really depends on the person. So if you're hungry first thing in the morning, like as soon as you get up, usually that's a blood sugar issue. And if you do eat first thing in the morning, make sure you're eating protein, fat, and fiber. Think of Mother Nature, okay? Mother Nature gets it right, human intervention gets it wrong. So eggs are great, you know, even like an omelet with veggies are wonderful, lots of great nutrients in there. You could cook it in some grass-fed butter. You could even make a really healthy smoothie with good fats and some protein. So whenever you feel like it's the right time for you to eat is a good time. Now, oops, Daisy is here. Oops, here. Sorry about that. Now, some of the questions that come up is, what should I eat for breakfast? So I gave you a couple examples. The eggs are great, omelets with veggies are great, but the main thing is you want to eliminate sugar, especially first thing in the morning, because you'll put your blood sugar on that roller coaster ride. And when you get on that roller coaster ride of blood sugar, we're chasing our hunger all day long. So your breakfast is really important. It doesn't have to be right away when you get up. Whenever you feel hungry, you can eat, but make sure you're getting, you know, that protein, fat, and fiber, and you want to eat real food for your breakfast and eliminate any sugary drinks. So, you know, have some water first thing in the morning is wonderful for hydration. You can also squeeze some fresh lemon in there, which is great for body pH. But most people don't consume enough water in the day, so having it first thing in the morning is great. If you don't like water, I'm going to talk about some ways you could, you know, put some natural flavoring in there, which may help. But even if you get up in the morning and you have coffee or tea, that's fine. You just want to be mindful and make sure you're getting water first thing in the morning, and then you're drinking it throughout the day. If you are a coffee drinker and you add sugar, it would be great for you to try and wean off the sugar. You could try things like stevia. Stevia is great because it's an herbal-based sweetener, and it doesn't affect our blood sugar. It's safe for diabetics. And I'm sorry, I'm going to mention, I am going to look at the questions at the end. So I'll probably talk for about another half hour, and then I'm going to look at the questions. So I just want to make sure I get through all this first. But if you're having your coffee, really try and wean off that sugar. And I usually find when people start cleaning up their diet and they really start focusing on their breakfast and having good foods in their breakfast, their body starts to do a natural detox. And things that used to be quite sweet are even sweeter and sweeter now. So you can slowly start weaning off that sugar in the coffee. But there's also other tools like MCT oil powder. You can see Organica has a great MCT oil powder, and it's great for putting in coffee. It supports weight loss because it helps us stay full. It helps with fat loss. It is great for energy. It gives us energy, and it really helps your gut, your intestine and the gut environment. It can also help increase fat burning and reduce the need for carbs. So when you start your day, if you're having, some good eggs that are pictured here, and if you have your coffee, swap maybe some cream for some MCT oil. Definitely swap the sugar for it. There's also a super brew creamer. If those of you that are familiar with the bulletproof type coffees, where you put some grass-fed butter, some MCT oil. Well, this super brew is a powdered form, and it's lovely, and it just goes in your coffee. Or you could do the MCT oil on its own, and you're getting really good fats, and really good fats keep that blood sugar even. When our blood sugar is even, that's when we start to have the fat loss and increased energy. So when we're eating poorly and chasing our hunger all day long, that's when we start to feel fatigued. I know myself, I'm very sensitive to too many carbohydrates. And I know, and everyone should be able to tell, 60 minutes after you eat a meal, how do you feel? If you feel great and energized, that meal worked for you. If you feel like you want to take a nap or you feel a little sluggish, that wasn't a great meal for you. So that's a good kind of little test I always do. And I always share that with people as well. But MCT is great. It's also wonderful for brain function. It stands for medium chain triglycerides, and it's really good for brain health and preventing Alzheimer's and so many things. It has so many great fatty acids that are just benefit so many things like our heart, our gut, our brain, and really important to include. It's also great for managing diabetes because of the fat loss, right? It helps buffer that insulin spike. It helps keep our blood sugar even. And whenever that happens, we're naturally going to have some fat loss. Now, sometimes people are sensitive to coffee. You could put this in tea as well, but the main thing is that, you want to try and get away from too much sugar in your drinks. And sometimes even with coffee can sometimes, if people are sensitive to it, it can create some cortisol secretion. So some people get jittery when they have coffee. Maybe they're sensitive to the caffeine. And sometimes when we have caffeine, if people are sensitive, they will get a production of cortisol. So when our cortisol shoots up, we don't even have to eat carbohydrates, and our body automatically produces insulin. And as you know from the previous slide, too much insulin creates that belly fat around the middle. So putting MCT or super brew in our coffees is a great way to buffer that, so we don't get that cortisol spike and we don't get, that weight gain around the middle. There's other tips and things that are great for blood sugar, and not just diabetics, just managing our blood sugar. If you look at the picture on the right, it kind of looks like a bumpy cucumber. That's bitter melon. So bitter melon is great. And it's great for insulin sensitivity. So when I say insulin sensitivity, if you remember the cell that I drew, when our cells are letting the insulin in, that means we are insulin sensitive, and that's what we want to be. When we're insulin resistant, we're resisting them. Those doors are closed and they're gummed up. So we want to be insulin sensitive. So bitter melon is wonderful for insulin sensitivity, and it can help improve insulin sensitivity. It kind of looks like a cucumber, like I said, with bumpy skin, and it's the most bitter of all fruits, but it really helps control blood sugar. Organica has a supplement called Blood Sugar Control, which is bitter melon. So for those people that, and I do see them locally in the grocery stores, the bitter melon, but for those that want it in a supplement form, it's easy to take. And that's just something that's good to take before a meal to help with the, the insulin sensitivity. Cider vinegar for digestion and metabolism is also really good. So, if you're having your breakfast or before your lunch, taking apple cider vinegar off the spoon before a meal has so many great benefits. When when we're eating our food after we swallow it, it goes down under our stomach and it's turned into what's called a bolus, and all our enzymes start breaking that food apart. Usually for a lot of adults, by the time they're 35, 40, they have what's called an underactive stomach, which means we don't have enough acid to help break down and digest the food. So taking apple cider vinegar with or before a meal has really good benefits to help break up that bolus and, break down that food. It's really important to, make sure you're chewing your food well, of course, so the digestion is working and digesting the food really well. But apple cider vinegar is really great for metabolism and digestion. So it increases, the metabolism, and it helps with protein breakdown, and it can help with weight loss as well and help you get to your optimal weight. It also helps you, not only break down the food, but it leaves your body pH, which I'm going to talk about shortly, more alkaline. Even though apple cider vinegar is very acidic, when it's digested, it leaves what's called an alkaline ash, which is very good for our body pH. Digestion is an important topic for a lot of people. And just to talk a little bit more about digestion, enzymes are really good for digestion and metabolism. So Organica has a full spectrum plant enzyme, which helps break down proteins, carbs, and fats for those people that have maybe some issues with digestion. But it also helps with breaking down dairy products for better digestion and absorption. So if you're digesting your food well in your stomach, once it moves on to the intestine, your body will absorb and utilize those nutrients much better. So you've probably heard the saying, you are what you eat. I like to go one step further and say, you are what you eat and what you digest. So, decreasing ingestion and feeling heavy after you eat is not a great feeling. So plant enzymes are, part of your digestive team, and they help add to the digestive enzymes that we have. And it's really great to add just to help, eliminate any bacteria or fungi, but it also helps us absorb the nutrients. So we're feeling energized and we have more energy throughout the day. Now, I touched on body pH a little bit, but to go into it a little bit further, a lot of people say, okay, I get breakfast, I'm going to make sure I have protein, fat, and fiber for breakfast, but what do I do for lunch? And just to add on to the breakfast portion, I mentioned earlier that if you're not hungry in the morning, you can wait. A lot of people do intermittent fasting, and they might not eat till maybe 10 or 11 or even noon if they're not feeling that. Some people will have a coffee with some MCT or some super brew, and that'll kind of hold them over to lunch. That's perfectly fine too. But people are always asking, okay, I've got the breakfast down, protein, maybe some eggs or some omelets with veggies, but what do I eat for lunch? And that's a big question. And pH is a big part of it. Because pH is an indicator of acidity or alkalinity and the overall health of your body. So I always say, if you can take a lunch to work and you can prep, at least 4 out of the 5 days, that's great, because fail to plan to fail. And making salads can be quite easy, and I think they're a great way to increase your health and your energy if you're making it the right way. So just to look at the pH really quickly. The scale of the pH runs from 0 to 14, if you can remember grade 10 science class. So a score of 7 is neutral at the midpoint. And if you score higher than 7, your body is more alkaline. And if you score lower than 7, your body is more acidic. So 6.4 to 7.4 is neutral. And every food can be a little bit more acid forming or a little bit more alkalizing. So diet is really important to balance our bodies. So while we should be consuming about 75% alkalinizing foods and about 25% acidic foods, most people in today's world with the North American diet consume the opposite, making their bodies more acidic. So if you imagine a dinner plate and say you've got some chicken or fish, that's a quarter of the plate, have the other 3/4 veggies and salad or one big salad. And, we don't need to consume foods from, both categories. The bottom line is that the body needs more alkalinizing than acidic foods. So you don't want to be all alkaline. You want to be neutral. So you want to have a little bit of both. So a great habit to get into is, like I said, in the morning, if you're going to have some water, put some fresh lemon or even some lime juice in a glass of water and drink it first thing in the morning. That's a great habit to get into. And just like apple cider vinegar, lemons are very acidic to taste, but after they're digested, they leave what's called an alkaline ash. So they're very alkalinizing for our body pH, very healthy for us. Greens are a great way to add more alkalizing foods to our diet. So that's why I love salads. Salads are great. Alkalizing foods. So I just put a little chart here. So all the good stuff is alkalizing. So chlorella, apple cider vinegar, spirulina, lemons, asparagus, veggies, beets, broccoli, all the good stuff. Now, acidic forming foods we still need and can have, right? But unfortunately, today in North America, our modern world, we're having so much processed foods. So processed foods, too much red meat, grains, dairy, animal protein, alcohol, refined flours are huge, and so on. So man-made foods are really acid forming as well. Some beef and grains are really acid forming too, but again, in moderation. So I spoke about chlorella at the top there, the alkalizing. It's something I like to talk about because, as I mentioned, apple cider vinegar, lemons are great for alkalizing, but chlorella is also wonderful. And it's one of those things that people don't know a lot about, but it's a type of algae that grows in fresh water. And it's sometimes called seaweed, but it's used for nutrition. So it's one of the most nutrient dense superfoods. That's why it's called superfood, because it's super and it's really dense with nutrients, but it's an excellent source of protein, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants. So antioxidants are great, especially today with the amount of stress that people are under. Antioxidants are really good for us. And chlorella is packed with antioxidants. So it's great for fighting oxidative stress, even cancer, and it's an excellent source of protein, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants. It's also vegan friendly, so anybody can have it. I love to describe chlorella like a sponge. Think of it as a sponge in your body that soaks up all the toxins and just rids it out. So it's fabulous. It comes in powder and tablets, but it's a plant. It's a plant, and it's so good because it has chlorophyll and so many good vitamins and minerals that it's something that's very alkalinizing as well. So a lot of people throw it in their smoothies or find different ways to add it in. And spirulina is another food along with chlorella and lemon juice, apple cider vinegar that's very alkalinizing as well. And it's a type of algae as well, and it's a fantastic source of B vitamins and other vitamins and antioxidants, but it can be difficult to get some of these antioxidants from other foods. But spirulina is really good for an easy way to give your body a bunch of nutrients with a single supplement. I don't even really like calling it a supplement. It is a superfood, so you can pretty much do anything with it. I think the easiest way to incorporate things like chlorella and spirulina into your diet is just to start with some drinks, like maybe put a teaspoon in a smoothie. You'll notice it gets this beautiful greeny blue color and it's super nutritious. There's nothing artificial in there. Even my kids, I'll buy like an organic lemonade and add like 2 teaspoons of spirulina to the container, to the glass bottle, and I leave it in the fridge and it's this beautiful aqua color and they love it. And it's loaded with nutrients. I think of it like a multivitamin and, some added protein, but it's very easy to incorporate. Sometimes people get a little bit unsure because it does have a small algae-like smell, but when you're adding it to things that are, acidic to taste, like lemonade, even red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, whenever you add it to things like that, you don't even taste it. So I have a fabulous salad dressing recipe right here. Feel free to take a picture of it with your phone, but you can even sprinkle the powder on salad afterwards. But what I do is I add it to my salad dressings because I usually use apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar, and you don't even taste it and you're getting so many nutrients. So I usually double this recipe and leave the salad dressing in the fridge for the week. It's honestly, it takes like not even a minute to make, and it's great. You're getting the chlorella or spirulina or both, whatever you choose. A teaspoon of sea salt as well, with the red wine vinegar, hemp seed oil, any great oil. Garlic is a great salad dressing. The sea salt is really good electrolyte, and we don't get enough electrolytes in our diet today. So fantastic salad. And I find that when we're having a salad, you could throw egg in there, you could throw chicken in there, a little bit more protein. That's usually what I do, tempeh, whatever. But this is such a great lunch. If you had breakfast, you had some good protein with some fats, and then you have a nice salad with some chicken or something like that, and you haven't had any processed food yet, right? So your blood sugar now at lunchtime is pretty even. It's when we have those bagels and muffins and then maybe, a sub with pasta or something for lunch, we're on that roller coaster ride, and that really affects our energy. So if you want to have lots of energy this spring and feel healthy, it's all about blood sugar. So having foods like this will really help keep your blood sugar stable, and you will have a lot more energy. Food and mood are so connected, and you'll feel great too. So speaking of electrolytes, why do we need electrolytes? Well, electrolytes are essential for our body, our cells, our organs, our systems to work properly. And when we become low on electrolytes, some people actually feel sick. They don't feel well. They feel like they're really tired. I know my kids were really busy with hockey tryouts a couple weeks ago, and I was making sure they had electrolytes a couple times a day, just because not only are they expending a lot, sweating a lot, but for the energy and just the replenishment of electrolytes. So it's really important. But sometimes people just don't have enough electrolytes. They haven't got them through their diet, and they don't feel so well. So once they have electrolytes, it's really, they really feel a lot better. Of course, sometimes people get sick with food poisoning or the flu. And if you're sick, then you need to replace some electrolytes as well, because you'll lose them when you're sick. But most of the population has a subclinical potassium deficiency and a magnesium deficiency. Magnesium is a really popular supplement because it's needed. Most people need it a lot, but people are usually heavy on sodium and calcium, but low on potassium and magnesium. So we need those nutrients, and they may not notice a lot, maybe just a little fatigue, maybe some heart palpitations over time, but they can definitely become magnified. And electrolytes are one of those things that are really important to make sure we're getting enough of. I personally use sea salt all the time because there's lots of great minerals in sea salt opposed to table salt. But Electrolytes Plus Enhanced Collagen is just one of the brands that Healthy Planet carries that is fabulous. And it's a great source of electrolytes. I'm actually drinking the lemon berry one tonight. It's great. I love it. There's 0 sugar in there. There's 3 different flavors. There's a wild berry, a lemon berry, and a strawberry peach. And it lasts a whole month. There's 30 servings per tub and really good flavors. But again, a great way, as I was saying earlier, swap the sugar, right? We want to eliminate sugar in our drinks. Okay. We're getting enough in our diets as it is. But if you can just look at all the drinks, if you can just start with looking at what you drink, okay, coffee from Tim Hortons, double. Well, let's try and wean off that sugar. Maybe use stevia. Still have your coffee. Just drink enough water throughout the day. If you're drinking, some pops and things like that, try and swap it out with something that's not sugar and a little bit more hydrating. And I find a lot of people are not getting enough electrolytes in their diet. So something really good, maybe at 3 o'clock or in the evening, to make sure you're replenishing your electrolytes. And it's a nice tasting drink too. Again, there's no sugar, but there's some taste in there. There's a tiny bit of stevia, which is natural, and some good flavors in there. So a great way to replenish, especially with the nicer weather coming, right? People can get dehydrated. So really important to make sure we're replenishing. I always talk about swapping things. I don't like to say, oh, you can have this, but you can't have this. So I would say swap it with something good so people can have, some ideas. I think it's great. And you can swap some healthy items with some maybe not so healthy items. So bone broth is one of those great things, even though we're getting into warmer weather, people think of bone broth as like when it's cold out in the wintertime, having soups and stews, but bone broth is something that can be used year round. I personally love putting it on my veggies, and when I'm stir frying them, I use it all the time. But bone broth is, most of you probably know, a liquid that's made from boiling animal bones and connective tissue. Chefs use it as stock base for soup, sauces, and gravies, but it can be used for so many more things. But it's very nutritious, and people have been using bone broth for centuries. Personally, I make a turkey every Christmas and every Thanksgiving, and I always make a soup after. So I boil it for 24 hours, and then I have the broth, and I use that. I don't make soup every day. I'm not boiling turkeys every day. So Organica has a really great broth. That's a beef broth, a chicken broth, and a veggie broth that is something you can use every day. So bone broths are a great tool because they are so beneficial. They're great for our gut health. They also have some good minerals in there. And there's so many ways to incorporate them in your diet throughout the day. So you can swap out some unhealthy drinks in the afternoon that may contain sugar and some other things with a broth. Or you can just sprinkle it on your veggies when you're stir frying. A friend of mine sprinkles some chicken broth on some chicken thighs before he makes them. And there's a lot of ways that you can use it. Our veggie broth obviously doesn't have bones in it because it's vegetarian, but it's a combination of tremella mushroom, nutritional yeast, and some vegetables. So it's a really good source of L-glutamine that's from the vegetables, but it tastes amazing. And you can use it in so many things. But here's another recipe. I know people love recipes. It's a veggie keto cracker recipe. It just tastes awesome. And until you taste it, you know, you won't fall in love with it. But everyone that's tried it loves it. So it's a great product. Sometimes people ask, you know, what's the difference between collagen and bone broth? I hear a lot about bone broth, collagen. But again, these are great tools to swap with some unhealthy treats or drinks or snacks. And sometimes people get confused with the difference. So collagen is the most abundant form of protein in our body. So it provides us with strength and elasticity, tone, and the essential structure. Although we may think of collagen in our skin, because a lot of people use it for, you know, anti-aging and just skin elasticity, it can also be found throughout our body. So it's in the muscle fibers, bone matrix, and our blood vessels. It's the protein that's responsible for strong and flexible connective tissues. I like to think of it as a glue that holds everything together, okay? And it's really, really important because in our 20s, we actually start losing our collagen naturally. So we could notice that we're low on collagen if we're noticing some fine lines and wrinkles. Of course, it's inevitable, but it's really good for hydration of the skin. So sometimes a lot of people use it just for anti-aging or just to keep that youthful glow or that youthful appearance because it helps with delaying fine lines and wrinkles, brittle nails, sagging skin, loss of moisture, weak ligaments. A lot of my husband's friends and my husband use collagen because they golf in the summer and they have a lot of joint issues. So collagen is amazing for joint health, aching joints, arthritis, any cartilage issues. My son a couple of years ago had elbow surgery and I was giving him collagen twice a day and it really helped with the joint in the elbow as well and the healing. So lots of reasons to have it. It's great for gut health as well. So anyone with any gut issues, it's great. But there's many different types of collagen. There's over probably 27 in the body, but the three most common types that you've probably seen or heard of are types 1, 2, and 3. So just to break it down for you guys, type 1 is from the exterior of the body. So it's in the hair, skin, and nails. Type 2 is for the connective tissues, joints, ligaments, and cartilage. Type 3 is muscle fibers and organs like the liver, lungs, and kidneys. So as you can see, it's found throughout the body. And in this chart here on the right, you can see bovine collagen is sourced from the hides of cattle. And it is high in types 1 and 3 collagen, okay? Marine is sourced from the fish scales and skins of codfish, and it's high in type 1 collagen. Chicken is sourced from the sternum, bones, and cartilages and hits high in type 2 collagen. So if I, after I was pregnant with my kids and I gave birth, I noticed, like many women, my hair was falling out a bit, right? And you could just notice in the shower. I think a lot of women go through that. So a marine collagen would be great because it's a type 1 collagen, and that's great for hair, skin, and nails, right? So I had my first son, I think I was 30, and now in my mid 40s, I'm looking for more of a blend because I'm getting some joint issues. So everyone's a little bit different, but at least you know what the differences are. And if you choose to use a collagen, you can use it to swap out some other ingredients in maybe your drinks or your foods to increase the protein content and make it more nutritious. So before you commit to any collagen supplement, be sure to do your research. Remember that not all collagen products are the same, and that you get so many benefits for your body. So you want to make sure you're doing your research. And I'm really finicky about ingredients. And a couple important things to think about when you're looking at collagen is, number one, 100% hydrolyzed. So remember, like for me, I use collagen every day. My husband uses it every day. He puts it in a smoothie. I use it, I put it in a coffee mid-morning. And then I also take one in the afternoon. So I have an electrolyte here, and I actually add some collagen to it. Our electrolytes have collagen in there already, but I top it up with some more collagen. So that's just kind of like a way I can add it in and treat it like a food, just to sort of fill in the gaps nutritionally. So 100% hydrolyzed. This is really important when it comes to collagen because it's a large molecule and it must be digested and broken down into smaller molecules so it's absorbed very well. So hydrolyzation is the process of breaking it down into a smaller molecule, which is also called a peptide. So it's the same thing as hydrolyzed. Sometimes they call them both, but it's a process that makes it more bioavailable or more absorbable by our bodies. So it really helps the body build collagen and with the collagen formation in the body. So really important to make sure it's 100% hydrolyzed because we're going to absorb it much better. Okay. And like I said, I'm big on the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, if we're eating well, 20% of the time, go out for your birthday, have that cake, enjoy it. If you're going out for dinner on the weekend, cheat, have at it. But if you're having something like every day, like a collagen, I'm having it twice a day, I want to make sure it's clean, right? It's what we do every day that makes our health, not once in a while. So once in a while, we can celebrate, no problem. 2 is sourcing. You want it to be sustainably sourced, grass-fed and pasture-raised. Even your beef and your butter, if you can, look for your beef and your butter to be grass-fed. That's wonderful. Free of growth hormones, antibiotics, heavy metals, and toxins. You want it to be tested for GMOs. And Organica's enhanced collagen is sourced from the USA. It's very clean. But again, you just want to make sure you do your research. 3, you want to choose a collagen that's flavorless and odorless. So when it's 100% hydrolyzed, like I mentioned, it's going to be flavorless and odorless, which is fabulous. If it tastes or it smells, it's probably not 100% hydrolyzed, and it's probably one that you want to steer away from. So some collagens on the market I've heard don't taste that great. It should be clean, 100% hydrolyzed, and it should have no flavor or taste. You should be able to add it to anything. My mom puts collagen in her oatmeal. My husband puts it in a shake. You can sprinkle it on so many different things. My kids are into these smoothie bowls, and they also make protein shakes. They put it in there. There's no flavor. Sometimes on Sundays, my youngest son will do this massive batch of pancakes. Like I said, once in a while, they can handle it, but he'll put a couple scoops of collagen in there because pancakes are just flour and sugar, and it's not really doing anything for them. So of course the maple syrup they dump on there, at least they're getting some minerals, but the collagen is just another way, to add a little bit of protein in there. And it's really good because it's flavorless and odorless, so you're not going to taste it or smell it. So number 4, the amount of collagen per serving. So collagen is necessary, like I said, it's all across our body, which means you need a good amount each day, especially after age 20. Having said that, I started taking collagen about 4 years ago, and you still benefited at any age. So it's usually great to start at the recommended on the bottle, and you'll notice differences. And then, you could add more if you wanted to as well. But Organica has a huge line of collagen. Like I said, we're the #1 collagen in Canada, which is pretty exciting. It's sourced well and it's clean and it's a Canadian company. But we have our enhanced collagen, which is just original and it's bovine. We also have our newest one on the bottom left there is a Pure Beauty, which is pretty exciting because they have taken our enhanced collagen and added some beauty ingredients like hyaluronic acid, which is really great for keeping moisture in the skin, in the eyes, and in the joints. I've heard a lot of people complaining about dry eyes, and it has a lot to do with, I think, computer screens. Sometimes it's dehydration as well, but it's great because hyaluronic acid keeps your eyes lubricated, keeps your skin, it binds moisture, so it keeps your skin moisturized. It's also great for the synovial fluid in your joints. So really good to take, and I'm glad that they have it in the Pure Beauty collagen. There's also silica in there, vitamin C, biotin, which is great for skin. So it's kind of geared more towards women. Having said that, my husband puts it in his, so it's great for both. The small picture in the middle of purple one is our new enhanced collagen sleep. So this would be more of an evening time one because there's melatonin and GABA in there. And as you know, melatonin helps you fall asleep and GABA helps you stay asleep. So this would be a nice little drink. Sometimes I make a little frothed oat milk or almond milk and put it in there. And it's just nice to sip on at nighttime, and helps you, not have any anxiety before bed. It helps you sleep and stay asleep at nighttime. The green one is our enhanced collagen vitality. Now that one we've added some green matcha, so it does have a matcha flavor, but you can have that any time of day. I probably wouldn't have it later in the afternoon or evening because matcha, it does have some natural caffeine in there, but very good for that alert calm during the day. If you wanted to have something at 3 o'clock and you didn't want to, a coffee or something like that, this would be a great option. We have our blue one on the bottom right, which is Enhanced Collagen Relax, where we've added some magnesium. Who doesn't need more magnesium? And some L-theanine. And then the top right one is Enhanced Collagen Full Spectrum, types 1, 2, and 3. So if you remember, I was speaking earlier about the types of collagen. Type 1 is found from marine, as a marine collagen. From cod. So there's 40% marine, there's 40% bovine, and 20% chicken bone broth. So you're getting that type 2 in there. So if someone's looking for that all, big bang for your buck, like I want hair, skin, nails, joint, gut, everything, that would be the full spectrum collagen 1, 2, 3. Now, there will be a mild flavor in there. As I mentioned before, it is 100% hydrolyzed, so it's odorless and flavorless. But because we've added the chicken bone broth, 20%, you will get a mild chicken bone broth flavor, but you can add it to anything and you won't taste it so mild. So very good product for all three. This is a question that comes up. How much do I need every day? So it's a protein, so you're going to get a great source of protein, and everybody's needs are different. So obviously an elite athlete needs more protein than a 15-year-old, but as little as 10 grams is a great place to start, and that's 1 serving. And you'll usually notice your joints feel better, your hair, skin, nails start to grow faster. If you want to consume more, you can have it make up 30% of your diet, and that's great. But the average person needs about 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, if you want to do the math. But depending on how active you are, most adults are around 60 to 90 grams of protein per day. So, breastfeeding women will need more, and elite athletes will need more. So it really depends. But I find that people don't get enough protein throughout the day, and we're getting way too many refined carbohydrates, and that's causing our blood sugar to be on a roller coaster. So we don't have energy when our blood sugar is in a low, and then we have something to eat that might be refined again. We feel good, but then within 60 minutes we crash again. So, and I find, so if my son makes pancakes on Sunday and I eat some, tastes great, but all day long, I'm like, I could eat all day long because I'm chasing my hunger. I started my day with sugar. So, adding some protein is a really good way to kind of fill in the gaps nutritionally. Here's another little recipe with our enhanced collagen relax. It's really easy to make. You just kind of put everything in the mixer. You can add the aquafaba, which is the liquid in the chickpeas, but you kind of put it all together, puree it with raspberries, and pour over ice and almond milk, and it's really great. And just some fun ways to do it. But again, you can add it to anything because the enhanced collagen does not taste or smell. The matcha collagen latte, as I mentioned, does have that matcha flavor, which is nice. So you can make a nice latte with it, just hot water, a tablespoon of the Vitality Enhanced Collagen, and you can put any type of milk or frothed dairy-free milk or whatever you choose, and that's really nice. Marine collagen is great. So again, that's a type 1 collagen. If you look at the picture, you can see at the bottom of the marine collagen, there's a little fish beside the 250 grams. That shows that it's from fish. So it's Canadian sourced, it's wild caught fish, and it supports strong hair, skin, and nails, and it's a type 1 collagen again, so it's flavorless and odorless. It's easy to mix into hot and cold drinks and smoothies. Anything you can really put it in, hot or cold, both, all kinds of our collagen, and it's great because it's so versatile. It's antibiotic free, it's keto friendly, it's pescatarian. So pescatarian means people eat fish, but they may not eat beef and some other foods like that. So great for people that are pescatarians. And sticking on with the marine collagen, talking about water, you really want to make sure you're getting enough water, right? Have your water and lemon first thing in the morning. It's fabulous. And I'll use my father-in-law as an example. He's 88 and he's been drinking water now for like about 7 or 8 years, which is great. He didn't like drinking his water, but he uses this Effervesce tabs because they're tablets and they just dissolve. They fizz a little bit, and they're marine collagen, just a little bit. But it helps him drink his water. He likes the cranberry here, but it comes with cranberry or kiwi, lavender or rose, and they're great for on the go. You can, add it to any cup, tumbler, or bottle. You can bring it to the gym or just use it to drink water, because a lot of people, like I've heard a lot of people saying, I don't drink enough water or I don't like drinking water. So of course, lemon and water is a great option. Effervesce marine collagen with vitamin C is a great kind of intro to start drinking more water because it has a very mild taste, and you just drop a tablet in and you let it fizz, and you sip on it throughout the day, which is great. I talked about the full spectrum collagen, 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, this picture is a little bit clearer, but for those that are looking for an all-around collagen, it's got the bovine 40%, marine 40%, and chicken bone broth 20%. So a really good product there. Our plant-based collagen booster is great for the vegans and vegetarians because it contains no collagen at all, but it helps our bodies produce collagen. So it has 7 synergistic ingredients that help naturally boost our collagen, and it helps protect from UV and free radical damage because there's lots of antioxidants in there. But it's really the first collagen booster to use ginseng and carrot peptides, and they mimic the role of traditional collagen peptides, and they're known to boost type 1 collagen. So great for hair, skin, and nails. Like I said, there's 7 plant-based ingredients in here that work really well together. So ginseng peptide, carrot peptide, dragon fruit extracts. That's where you'll get a little bit of pink coloring from the dragon fruit. Moringa leaf extract, and moringa has been long known as the miracle plant from India. It's in a lot of supplements now because it's very nutritious. It's kind of like a huge multivitamin, and it's very, very nourishing for the body. Golden bamboo extract. That moringa leaf is a powerful antioxidant too, but the golden bamboo is a natural source of silica, so great for skin, great for nails and hair. It's also really good for collagen production, and it has fiber, dietary fiber, which is great for helping detox, great for acting like a scrub brush on the intestine to get bowel movements moving, and it's really good for absorbing nutrients. It has astaxanthin, which is a very potent antioxidant. This makes it a great product because the astaxanthin in general is 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C. So it has a lot of anti-inflammatory benefits. And it also is an enzyme that helps the body, produce in the production of collagen. Vitamin C, of course, plays a role in boosting collagen production, and vitamin C is good for so many things, immune system. But vitamin C has always been known as, a great product for skin too. So this is a fabulous product, and it tastes really good, especially this time of year. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll make one and I'll put a bunch of crushed ice and either a squeeze of lime or some mint, and it tastes really good. So a lot of ways that you can kind of swap out some sugary drinks, add in some healthy ingredients as you swap out some of the sugar in your diet to increase your energy. At Healthy Planet, all the Organica products mentioned tonight are 20% off, which is fabulous. So you can stock up, and I just want to thank you guys and thank Healthy Planet for having me on. I love talking about nutrition in lots of ways, to kind of, lessen that insulin meter around the middle. I think that's a big problem with North Americans today is, getting to the root of it is our insulin and our sugar consumption. So I love to talk about it. And I will look at questions right now for those of you that need to go. Feel free to go, but I'm going to look at the chat box right now and I will answer some questions. Okay, so there's a note here that the recording of this webinar will be emailed. So you can pause and look at the recipes if you didn't take a picture of it and save them. So I know people love getting recipes, so I always like to include them. You can also go to Organica or follow Organica on Instagram at Organica Health. So many great recipes and so many great ways to use things. So many healthy ideas for breakfast too. So if you're looking for healthy breakfast ideas, that's great. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down here. For those of you that need to leave, I thank you all for joining. I'm just going to go through the questions now. Yes, a copy of the presentation will be available. It will be emailed. I'm glad you love our products and he loves your products too. The Electrolytes Enhanced Collagen is the electrolytes plus enhanced collagen sweetened with stevia. There's a little bit of stevia and there is absolutely no sugar in there. So safe for diabetics, safe for anybody. It's not a strong stevia taste. I will say that some people do not like stevia. I'm one of them. You won't taste it. It tastes amazing. How long does your collagen stay in the body? That is different for everybody. Collagen is continuously breaking down and we're making more. But as I said, in our mid-20s, we're making 1% less a year. So really important to make sure we're getting it and filling in the gaps with it. Is there a collagen for vegans? So as you if you saw the last slide I went over, the pink bottle, that's plant-based collagen booster, and that is safe for vegans. There's no collagen in there. If there was, it wouldn't be vegan, right? Because our collagen is sourced from bovine, and we also have collagen sourced from cod, which is a fish. So that's not vegan friendly. Our plant-based collagen booster naturally boosts our own collagen in the body. So I saw that was asked twice, so there you go. Our collagen is sourced from the USA. It's very clean. It's tested for heavy metals, GMOs, everything, and you will see that on the label as well. Are the green smoothies, mostly vegetables, spike sugar levels? So I'm going to assume that Christina is talking about the Chlorella and the Spirulina, and that will not spike the blood sugar level because there's nothing in there that would spike the blood sugar. Another green product was our veggie broth, and that's 100% organic vegetables, and there's some nutritional yeast and tremella mushroom in there, and that won't boost blood sugar either. It's keto friendly. All our broths are keto friendly, but the veggie broth is keto friendly. The spirulina and the Chlorella would technically be keto friendly as well because they don't spike blood sugar. They really don't spike blood sugar. Yeah, so. Is it possible to take too much collagen? How do you know how much is too much? So it's kind of like eating too much protein, I guess, right? Like I mentioned before, your body can never absorb too much of one thing, right, at once. It's better to break it up throughout the day for digestion, because our digestive system, you don't want to overwhelm it. I always like to suggest, if you're starting with collagen, start with 1 dose a day, like 1 serving, which is 10 grams. People will notice a difference when they start with that. I personally use 2 a day, and my son, when he broke his elbow, I was giving him like double that. So it really depends, but your body would just get rid of and excrete anything that's extra. Can collagen cause red skin on the face? Not that I've heard of. Of course, everybody's different. Everyone's has different sensitivities. But again, it's a very clean product. Sometimes with redness of the face is when people are having allergies or food sensitivities. And I wouldn't guess that this would do that, although everybody's different and unique. I'm a healthy breakfast eater every day, lots of variety, but I need some form of sugar to go with breakfast. Jam, honey, maple syrup, even a small cookie. What do you recommend? I notice if I have too much coffee, sorry, I gotta scroll down a little bit more, and too much sugar, the crash happens within an hour, but can't seem to entirely skip sugar 100% in the morning. Suggestions? Yes, this is a great question. So when we're continually having sugar throughout the day, even a little bit, we're gonna continually crave it. So when you wake up in the morning, if you're having, that jam or that honey or that maple syrup, even a small cookie, your body is craving it, right? Because your blood sugar's on low. It's very normal for people to wake up in the morning and be in a blood sugar low because of what they ate the day before. I would just say, don't have it. Have some eggs, have some really good protein, see how you feel an hour after that, and you'll probably feel good. It may take a little bit to get your blood sugar back in balance, but the reason you are wanting these sugars is because you're craving them and you're eating them. Not to say that you can never have them, but if you just want to get on a good, ride with your blood sugar, you just have to be a little bit strict at the beginning. And of course, the nice thing is when you're strict, you really start to feel good. You notice your skin clears up, your bowels move the way they're supposed to move. You have energy, your skin looks good and healthy, you're drinking lots of water. And then you go out, you cheat, you have lots of sugar and you feel terrible, but that's okay too, because wow, how good I was feeling and how bad you feel when you cheat. So now you'll probably not cheat as often because you got to experience how well you felt. Can too much collagen cause brittle nails? You know what? I don't believe so, because collagen is so good for hair, skin, and nails. I would say no. Collagen for sleep, type 1 or 2 or 3? Great question. So our new collagen sleep is a type 1 and 3 collagen. So it's just like our enhanced collagen, type 1 and 3. So type 1 is great for hair, skin, and nails. Type 3 is great for joints. We've added some melatonin and some GABA. Melatonin is great for helping you fall asleep. GABA helps the quality of your sleep and the length of your sleep. So this is something that's recommended at nighttime, so after 6 p.m. Of course, there's people that are jet lagged and work shift work, and they could just have it before they go to bed, whatever time that is. But I just like to note that we do have a collagen relax that you can take any time of day, but this collagen sleep is for, the evening time before bed. And it's a type 1 and 3. Can you use green tea to count towards your daily water count? So green tea, unfortunately, does not count towards your daily water count. Water counts, water with lemon, herbal teas that have 0 caffeine in it. And as you know, green tea does have a little bit, so it does not count towards water. Green tea has lots of benefits, so I wouldn't say, don't have it, but just be aware of your water intake at around 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If your urine is very yellow, you probably need more water. You want it to be like the color of lemonade, so pale yellow. It would be great to get a list of the recipes you have shown tonight. Okay, you will be getting a copy of the presentation, no worries. I got one screenshot, but the others went too fast. Okay, sorry about that for clicking too fast, but you will get this presentation emailed to you so you can look at the recipes. Thanks, Paula. Oh, good question here. How to mix the beef bovine broth so it's not clumpy. So I talked about our bone broths. We've got our chicken bone broth, we've got our beef bone broth, and we've got that veggie broth. Now the chicken bone broth, you mix it to hot water, you stir it, it mixes quite easily. Now the beef broth, you do the same thing, you stir it, it's a little clumpy. You have to give it a little bit more love, stir it a little bit longer because there's just more gelatin in the beef. And that's a good thing. So just stir it a little bit more and then it'll all dissolve. It's all natural, it's super clean, but we do get that question a lot because there's a little bit more gelatin natural in the beef broth. So a question here, are there any concerns if you don't have a gallbladder to break down foods? So that's a good question. So our gallbladder is responsible for secreting bile when we're eating fatty foods. So if you don't have a gallbladder, like a lot of people have gotten their gallbladder removed, that's when you want to look at those digestive enzymes, that the full spectrum digestive enzymes that we talked about today, because you would always take those when you eat your foods. Because you don't have a gallbladder that's going to secrete the bile, you want to make sure you have some enzymes in there to help break down those fats in the other foods that you're eating. Thank you. You're very welcome. How do I get the 20% off? So when you go to, if you're going online to Organica, you will see the 20% off reflected at checkout. So don't worry, you'll have it. And if you're shopping in store, you'll have it there as well. Another question, is a breakfast consisting mostly or entirely of fruit bad? Besides nut butter, what else can be added to a fruit-based breakfast? Well, that's a good question. So fruit, of course, is great. There's lots of good fiber, and just having mostly fruit is not bad because there's so many great nutrients and antioxidants in fruit, and the skin of fruits are really good and fibrous. So you know, if you wanted to add something to fruit-based breakfast, you could add, you know, some full-fat coconut milk. You know, there's Cha brand is really good. That sometimes people will do that with fruit, but fruit on its own is great. You could also sprinkle some cinnamon on there, which is good. But fruit is okay because it's natural. It's from Mother Nature. There's fiber, lots of things. And like I said, how do you feel 60 minutes after the fruit? It'll tell you how you feel. Now, some diabetics will have to be careful with some fruits, but if that's not the case for you, just see how you're feeling, and fruits are wonderful. You just want to be careful if there's blood sugar issues, right? So, does it make a difference to use topical collagen on the skin, or is an oral supplement better? So anytime we're ingesting something, we're going to absorb it much better. So I'll use the example of hyaluronic acid. So hyaluronic acid, if you remember the Pure Beauty Enhanced Collagen I talked about, it was the one with the pink. It has hyaluronic acid in there. And hyaluronic acid in the supplement form is great because it helps lubricate your eyes. It helps keep moisture in your skin, and it lubricates your joints, the synovial fluid in the joints. Now, there's a lot of skincare products that have hyaluronic acid that you put on your face, and I'm sure they work well, but anytime you're ingesting hyaluronic acid, it's going to take it to your skin, to your eyes, to your joints a lot better than anything topically. And that would be the same for collagen. You're very welcome. Lots of thank yous here. Okay, so I have a question here. What is the difference between spirulina and protein powder? So good question. So spirulina, if you can remember, is a green superfood, and it's an algae, and it's really high in antioxidants, vitamins. It has some protein in there as well. Protein powder, depending on the brand or you know, what kind of protein powder you're using, won't have the amount of antioxidants, and it wouldn't be considered a superfood, and it wouldn't have the vitamins in that. Protein powder is more of a protein substitute. You just have to be careful with the protein powders depending on the brand, making sure it's clean and looking at the ingredients. Spirulina is a really high antioxidant, a green superfood. So two different purposes, I would think. Okay, when and what should you eat before and after a workout? Okay, great question. So depending on the person. So if I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to do it on an empty stomach because I have stored fat that I can use as energy, and I want to lose that stored fat. If I was going on a 4-hour marathon, I would probably have something because it needs to sustain me longer. But if you're going to go for a run that's less than 45 minutes, we have stored fat that we can steal from. And that's what I suggest doing. So before a workout, if it's a short workout, nothing. Empty stomach first thing in the morning is amazing. And then after a workout, 45 minutes to an hour, you want to replace protein. So protein is really good for wear and tear on the muscles. If you've done some weightlifting in the morning or you've gone for a run or something like that, protein is great. Even if you're not working out, I mentioned earlier, protein in the morning is a great way to start your day because it starts you out on a good foot blood sugar wise. So as a breakfast without working out or after a workout, protein is great. And you can always add some good fats as well. What about using honey instead of sugar to sweeten coffee? So yes, honey is better than table sugar for sure. Honey has lots of, beneficial properties. Even maple syrup has some nice minerals and stuff. So of course, you can use honey instead of sugar. That would be a good choice. You just have to see how sensitive you are to sugar. And if you're, find that you're consuming a lot of sugar throughout the day, you might want to slowly try to maybe not sweeten your coffee. But if your blood sugar is okay and you're feeling good, then honey is an okay choice. So which collagen is best for shoulder/joint issues from hockey injuries and surgery? Okay, great question. So I would do the full spectrum collagen type 1, 2, and 3. That's what I gave my son when he had a elbow injury surgery from hockey. So this would fit well with this question. I also had a surgery on my ankle, old soccer injury, and I did that one as well, the full spectrum collagen 1, 2, 3. So that kind of gives you all 3 in one, and that would be a great one. Oh, you're welcome, and I'm glad you love Organica, Michelle. I have a comment here from Paula. The Organica Collagen Relax is great for injuries and joints. Yes, that's a good point, Paula. So the Enhanced Collagen Relax that has the little blue marking on it, it has magnesium in there. So magnesium is really good for joints, muscles, any leg twitch. Magnesium is important for so many things in the body. And it also has L-theanine in there as well. So the Relax would be great for injuries and joints too, because you're getting the type 1 and 3 collagen. What do I take if I have knee issues? Well, again, the full spectrum collagen 1, 2, 3 is great for knee injuries because it has the type 2 bone broth in there. And that's a type 2 collagen. You could even make sure you're having bone broth throughout the day. Organica also has a BioCell collagen capsule, which is really good for knee issues, and that would go well. That would work well as well. How do you get hyaluronic acid for your eyes? Oh, great question. That's from Bob. So Bob, hyaluronic acid is in our Enhanced Collagen Pure Beauty, and as I mentioned earlier, my husband uses it, so it's not just for women, even though it's pink on the bottle, but there's hyaluronic acid in there. We also sell a hyaluronic acid supplement at Healthy Planet, and it's a capsule, and you can also get it in a powder. And that would be the easiest way if you're just looking for hyaluronic acid, because you can take as much as you want. So the capsules are 120 milligrams, and the powder is 150. So it's great for your eyes, for dry eyes. It's just great for lubrication of the eyes, as well as the joints and the skin. The hyaluronic acid supplement I've been taking since we came out with it, maybe 2 years. I absolutely love it. I think I will take it for the rest of my life. It's fabulous. What do you think of monk fruit sugar as a sugar substitute? Thanks for the presentation. You're very welcome. So monk fruit, just like the honey and the maple syrup and the sugar, like obviously table sugar is very refined. So anytime you're having more natural sugars like that, you're going to get some benefits. You're going to get some minerals and some good bacteria and stuff like that. So that's good. But just be aware that sugars, refined sugars, really spike our blood sugar. And even some sugars we just have to be careful with and see how we feel, right? I would write down what you eat throughout the day. And if you really like, your monk fruit, or you like your honey in your coffee, whatever, keep it and, attack your diet and see how you feel, and you know, see if you need to make some changes. But the natural ones, you know, you're getting benefits as well. Okay, sorry, another question from Flavia. Okay, no problem. She said, sorry for all the questions. You can keep asking. That's why I'm here. But does it mean that you can take a protein powder along with spirulina? Absolutely. You can put the spirulina in with your protein powder because you're getting all the benefits of spirulina and you add it to your protein powder. It's a great idea. Okay. Okay, so for breakfast, 1/2 to 3/4 cup of zero fat, zero sugar Greek yogurt, choice of fruit. Oh, I think someone's just sharing a recipe. Yeah, they just said they have 1/2 to 3/4 cup of zero fat, zero sugar Greek yogurt, your choice of fruits with cinnamon and a bit of vanilla extract, delish and filling. Thank you, Tracy. Another question from Jen. How much spirulina and chlorella should we take each day? It's recommended a teaspoon, and that's 1 serving, and that's a good amount. You're getting a lot of good antioxidants and a lot of good minerals and just superfood nutrients in there. For skin, which is better, vitamin C internally or externally? So I think this is safe to say all across the board. Internally always. I mean, you're always going to get benefits from putting things like there's vitamin C serums for your face, hyaluronic serums for sure. But anytime we're having something, you know, you are what you eat and what you digest, right? It's going to take it to your skin. It's going to take it to your cells. And of course, I'm sure you can get benefits to putting vitamin C on your face externally. But having it internally, there's so many benefits. So I would always say internally is most beneficial, but you can still get benefits from externally. What type is the original enhanced collagen? It is type 1 and type 3. Which is the type 2? Type 2 is found in chicken bone broth, okay, and the broths. So the beef broth, chicken broth. So our enhanced collagen is type 1 and type 3. Our broths are type 2. And then we have the full spectrum collagen that has a combination of both. Anil asked a question, is wheat good for blood sugar? The answer is no. It is very addictive and it is absolutely terrible for blood sugar. There's a fabulous book called Wheat Belly by Dr. William Davis. That's Wheat Belly by Dr. William Davis. And it just is great to explain how wheat is just driving our insulin. So it's not good. It's very processed. So anything very processed is terrible for blood sugar. You're very welcome. Lots of thank yous. Oh, a question here from Raquel Nash. What does a healthy breakfast look like with cereal? I think it's hard to make cereal healthy unless it's like, okay, I'm not a cereal eater. I do eat unhealthy stuff too, but I'm just saying I've never been a big cereal. I'm sure there's healthy cereals that you can make on your own and stuff. But if it's refined and it's in a box, yeah, it's probably not healthy. But I'm sure there are some concoctions of cereals that you can make at home on your own with some good ingredients, but anything boxed and processed would not be healthy. Have eggs instead for breakfast, and just even leftover chicken would be great. So what do you think about oatmeal for breakfast? This is a great question from Christina. So it's one of those things that they say oatmeal is a stick to your rib kind of breakfast. It does increase our blood sugar. So you can do things like my mom loves her oatmeal, right? She's 77 and she doesn't have weight to lose. She's healthy. She's not on any medication. She loves oatmeal. She does put collagen in her oatmeal and she puts some adaptogens in there too. It works for her, right? And it's a steel cut oat, so it's a little bit cleaner and stuff. But if it's like, if you're having issues with blood sugar and you have weight to lose, oatmeal may not be working for you because it does, and it depending on the kind of oatmeal, right? You can get some better oatmeals that are more complex carb, not as refined and processed, but just be aware that, you know, it's a better carbohydrate if it's steel cut, but just test it out, see how it works for you. Ha, Anil. So Honey Nut Cheerios is out. LOL. Yes, it's out. Okay, so how do you recommend boiling bones for 24 hours? Will it not boil dry? No, actually it doesn't. Sometimes when you will add a little bit more water when you're boiling like a turkey or a chicken or something like that. I'll always put like a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar when I'm boiling my bones, like at Christmas time and Thanksgiving, and that helps leach out some of the minerals, but you will have to top up some of the water so you don't boil it dry for sure. But all those minerals will stay. So how much water to the bones of one chicken? Just cover the chicken. So I have a massive pot, just don't measure, just pour in the water and cover the chicken. And you'll have to top it up, right, to keep boiling it. I know some people do it in crock pots too. They just leave the crock pot on really slow and low for longer than 24 hours, and you can just keep topping up the water. LOL, Honey Nut Cheerios, yeah. Yes, someone else said that, Sir William. Yes, he uses a slow cooker to boil the bones. So there you go. Works well. Okay. I think that's it. That's all the questions. So thank you all so much for joining. You're very welcome. I hope to see you guys all soon on another consumer webinar. I hope you guys all have some great tips to increase your energy. And just remember, how you start your day is really important for how it's going to go energy-wise. So you want to have good energy, watch your blood sugar. Thanks very much, guys. Have a great night. Bye for now.